what worked, what didn't, everything in between. Wrapping my brain around transcripts and grading and just all of those big beefy curriculums, trying to be honest and transparent with you guys. Probably no surprise here. This is going to be a big thumbs up. I have to give this a thumbs down. It makes my heart so sad. Hey, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a curriculum wrap-up video. I know I'm a little bit late to the party with videos coming out on YouTube about this, but as year-round homeschoolers, we are honestly just really finishing up what I would consider our full school year. And I wanted to make sure that I had the full picture before I shared my opinions and perspectives about how this school year went, what worked, what didn't, everything in between. In case you are new around here, hi, my name is Sarah, and this will be, 11 years of homeschooling going into our 12th. So yeah, we've been at this for a while, but I definitely feel like a newbie. This was our first year with an official high schooler in the house, and so wrapping my brain around transcripts and grading and just all of those big beefy curriculums has been challenging and exciting. So in today's video, as you probably saw on the thumbnail and in the title, I am pairing together our 8th grade and 9th grade curriculum. And honestly, that was just because I didn't want to be repetitive on videos. Noah and Leah, my 15-year-old and 14-year-old, they did almost all of their curriculum together this year. They shared books and sat down side by side and did a lot of things together. And so creating two videos just felt a little bit too repetitive. So I'm batching it all together here in one place. And here in our state, Leah, my 8th grader, she's actually able to count a good bit of her work that she did this year for high school credit. And so this is gonna just be 8th and 9th grade, but depending on where you live, this might just be 9th grade. My goal with these videos this year is to try not to be too long-winded, something I can get carried away with when I am talking about homeschool curriculum, but I'm gonna try to keep these brief, give you kind of a thumbs up or a thumbs down about what I thought about each piece of curriculum, and then just some very, bullet point kind of things about how it went in our homeschool this year. If you want more information specifically about a certain piece of curriculum, let me know down in the comments below, and maybe I can devote an entire video review just to that specific course or book. Whatever you want more information about, just let me know down below. All right, let's just jump in. I'm gonna go subject by subject. All right, so let's start off with math. Probably no surprise here. This is going to be a big thumbs up for Math UC. Leah completed pre-algebra this year. Noah did Algebra 1, and wow, these courses are a huge step up from, those alpha, beta, gamma, zeta. It's a big jump in these books, but we really, really loved these courses. Now, I will say you definitely need a calculator to do these, as well as probably some graph paper, especially for Algebra 1. As well as a DVD player or a computer where you can watch the DVD lessons or the online lessons, however you want to utilize the material. We always just use little personal DVD players and headphones here in our house. That's just what works best for us. But how we used this curriculum, it actually was just very hands-off for me as mama. They would watch the video teachings, and that would maybe take them 10 or 15 minutes. And then they would jump right into the practice worksheets. There's like practice A, B, C, D, and they would continue to work through those worksheets throughout the week until they felt like they had the concept grasped or mastered, because Math UC, it's a mastery-based curriculum. And I would just let them self-grade. As they went through the worksheets throughout the week, they would self-grade, self-correct, and then I would just always be available if they needed more guidance or had questions, which honestly they very rarely did. But they just were really able to watch Mr. Demi on the video and then have at it with the worksheets. Once they were ready, they would come and let me know, Mama, I'm ready for my test, and they would sit down and they would take their test. That is actually the bulk of how I calculated their grade for the school year for their transcript. I just tracked their grades from each of their tests on a spreadsheet, and I utilized that for about 70% of their math grade for the year. Now, I should note, sometimes they would get through a lesson in 2-3 days. Other times they would kind of get stuck and really have to work at it for a week or two. It just kind of ebbed and flowed, but they were both easily able to complete their entire course in one school year. Noah actually even finished in about 6 months. But this was just a great fit for them to be independent with math, and I could just be a support person. So big thumbs up for Math You See if you are looking for high school math curriculum. All right, and then for language arts, I called this course Grammar and Composition 1. I actually made that decision at the end of the year because we didn't quite finish all the curriculum, and so for next year we're going to do Grammar and Composition 2. But this is the 9th grade English course that I put together for them, and I'll just go through. I have 3 specific curriculum pieces that I want to share. First up, analytical grammar. This has been redone lately, just this year, revitalized. So this is the older edition. I can't recommend it enough. Big thumbs up. Now, it's very beefy. It's very, very challenging. It's actually taken my kids, it's gonna take them a full 3 years to get through this curriculum, but it's just very rich, very good. I mean, they are learning all the parts of speech, sentence diagramming. I mean, it's very robust. Honestly, after using it now for 2 years, I think that you could maybe only do half of the questions and sentences put on each lesson, and you would still be spending a good amount of time in grammar. And I think that's what we'll probably do next year, is maybe reduce the amount of sentences that my kids are having to diagram on a daily basis. Again, very much like Math You See, there are DVD videos that go along with each lesson where they're very short, 10, maybe 15 minutes, but breaking down each individual concept for your kids, giving them examples, visuals, things like that. So this has just worked really well. How I graded this was, again, very similar to how we did math. They would watch the video, there was 3 to 4 exercises every week for them to practice the concept that they had learned, and then a huge test every week. They're long tests, take the kids a little bit of a while to do, and honestly take mama a good long time to grade. It was my worst thing grading this year was grammar. There's just lots of little bits and pieces that you have to check off. So that would be my downfall with this that I don't love, is the grading. But otherwise, teaching my kids grammar, this has been excellent. Honestly, they have far surpassed my knowledge of grammar and sentence diagramming that I did in high school and in college. So this has just been a really, really great high school curriculum. Now, we did pair this along with writing. This was one of the suggested uses for analytical grammar in their scheduling, was to do 1 week of grammar and then 1 week of writing. And so that's how we did that this year, and it worked really well. The kids didn't get bored, they didn't get overwhelmed. So we would spend 4 to 5 days on grammar and then switch up and do 4 to 5 days of writing and go back and forth. Now, moving on, you guys know, I love IEW. I love Andrew Pudwa, and my kids have been slowly but surely been working through structure and style. This is year 2, level B. And again, can you tell we like video courses? This comes along with video courses for every single lesson. They watch 1 video, actually no, 2 videos a week. It's like a 2-part DVD that they watch, and these are actually a bit longer. They are not 10 to 15 minutes like math and grammar. These are 45, 50-minute long videos that they are watching. But Mr. Pudwa, he goes through and he breaks down everything for them. They get to watch other students read papers and go through examples, outlines. I mean, it's such good teaching. I wish I would have learned to write like this. So, because we only used this curriculum every other week, we did not finish it. I thought we were going to, but we did not. And so we are going to keep moving through with this into next year. For being halfway done with this curriculum, I would definitely give it a thumbs up. As all the IEW products that we use, we have really loved this. The Structure and Style series has been a great fit for my kids. This is the 4th one Noah and Leah have done thus far. Again, pretty hands-off for mama. I just have to be their editor and their grader to grade their papers. Oh, also another quick note, we utilize IEW for typing practice for my kids. I have them type their final draft for every paper that they write. This is really nice because it gives me an easy, soft copy of all of their writing. Again, another easy way to track grades is just by grading every single paper that they complete. And IEW makes the grading process really simple. They give you a checklist and tell you how many points you can assign for each item on the checklist for every paper your child writes. So grading, super easy, super simple, very user-friendly curriculum once you get the hang of the IEW style. Now, last but not least, this might sound a little strange for high school, but it is what it is. Spelling. My kids were completing the Spelling UC program. This is something they started in elementary school, and we have just worked through little by little. And Spelling UC is not grade-based, it is skill-based. And so you might be in level E in high school. You might have completed it a year before. It doesn't really matter. It's just where your spelling skills are. And so they worked through level F and level G. Level G in particular goes into some vocabulary practice and some other things like that. So this was just like a nice little cap off of middle school going into high school. And we really enjoyed Spelling UC in general. It has been a really good fit for my natural spellers, I guess I would say. For my kids that naturally are pretty good at spelling, I would give it a big thumbs up. For my struggling speller, maybe not as great. I don't want to say complete thumbs down because there is some value with it, but my struggling speller is still struggling a little bit. If you're not familiar with this spelling curriculum, it's very different than anything else out there. It is full of copy work and dictation and letter chunking. It is all about spelling words within context and especially within visual context. And it's something that's very difficult. I've done some dedicated videos to a few of the levels, but it's difficult to tell progress with Spelling UC. You just kind of have to trust the process. And I will say, now that I've had 2 kids almost completely finish this curriculum, I mean, it is true. You don't see the slow and steady progress. It just kind of jumps out at you all at once. And you're like, oh, they know how to spell. By the end of the books, they're really pretty good spellers. All right, moving on to science. I'm really excited to tell you guys I have a huge thumbs up for this curriculum. As you can tell, it's been really well used in our home this year. But this is Discovering Design with Earth Science. This is by Dr. J. Weil. It is put out by Berean Builders. This counted as the kids' physical science credit for high school, and it was wonderful. Now, I will say the thing that made this curriculum a success in our home were the Vimeo online pre-recorded classes that you can purchase to go along with it. I don't think this would have been a good fit for my kids without those videos. The teacher, she is just wonderful, very passionate, funny, and engaging with the kids. And we really enjoyed this curriculum. There were a lot of hands-on experiments. They had to keep lab sheets. There were tests that I could use to keep track of grades. It was just a very full-bodied science curriculum. You can use this for 8th grade for earth science, or again, you can use it in 9th grade and count it as physical science. We added on the labs and the lab kit to go along with this so that we could count it as a lab for high school credit. Now, I will say, your kids are gonna spend some time in this book. My kids spent a good hour a day doing science, very easily an hour a day, sometimes a little bit more. And the tests were quite challenging. There was a lot of vocabulary memorization and things like that. But I feel like for high school, that's exactly what it should be. It should be hefty, it should be challenging. And so I feel like this was a really good stepping stone to get them ready for biology for next year. If you haven't seen my curriculum pick videos, we are sticking with this curriculum. We are going to be using Berean Builders Biology next year with Noah and Leah. We just really loved it, but again, I will be purchasing the Vimeo pre-recorded classes. Now, one thing I will say, I bought the audiobook textbook to go along with this. I thought that would be helpful for my kids to be able just to listen to the text rather than having to physically read it. We never even took it out of the package. The pre-recorded classes and, reading through the text on their own was enough for my kids. They did not need the audiobook. So thankfully it was only $19. I didn't waste too much money on it, and I can try to sell it secondhand. If you're interested, leave me a comment. But here in our house, we did not utilize it. All right, moving on to history. I know there's actually been a little bit of controversy with this specific, a little bit of this specific curriculum this year. I am talking about Gather Round's U.S. History mini units. If you're not privy to that information, I would not encourage you to go down that rabbit hole. It doesn't really seem worth it to me. But Gather Round U.S. History mini units. We completed 5 of these units this year. There are 6 in total, but we only got through 5. That's where I'd kind of capped it off for us for the year. I don't have all of them here. I just brought a few up. A New World, Rise to Independence. I think this was my kid's favorite. And then here's number 4. This was War and Reformation. And so these were just one of the group subjects that we did as a family this year. I utilized this curriculum to really just make sure my kids knew how to take notes. That was one of the things I really wanted them to grow in their skill base for high school, was being able to listen to somebody audibly teach and take notes. And so this was the one, subject that I spent a lot of time teaching and shoulder to shoulder with my high schoolers this year. And it was so fun. It was so rich. We have so many good memories. All right, sorry about that. My SD card was full and I had to stop and go grab another one, and actually gave me a good excuse to go put on another layer of deodorant. It is hot. It's the beginning of August right now, and it is hot, hot, hot even up here. So sorry. Anyways, back. Don't really remember where I left off, but let's just jump back in about Gather Round History. Now, how I utilized this curriculum every day with my kids is I would get out a whiteboard, read from the teacher's guide, and we totally skipped the student pages. Once we finished Unit 1, I actually just totally skipped even printing the student pages, and I read the teacher guide aloud, put some basic notes on a whiteboard, and then they wrote out their own notes on notebook paper. My 3rd grader also used, I'll talk about this more in her curriculum wrap up, but she would also illustrate or draw a picture to go along with every lesson that we did. And this actually really enabled me to kind of go through the lessons in the way I felt that fit best. So sometimes we would do 1 lesson a day, sometimes we would do 2 lessons a day, sometimes I would do 1 and then start into the next one, just whatever was fitting well for the timing in our household. I was able to kind of more fit a little bit better for us. Now, I did also pair these units alongside of some literature picks. I'll try to put in just a little blip here of some of those. And these literature picks that my 8th and 9th graders read individually and put in literature logs, these really made our U.S. history come to life. These were just historical narrative fiction kind of books that they read. For instance, when we were reading about the Revolutionary War, they were reading Johnny Tremaine. When we were reading about the Civil War, they were reading Cross 5 Aprils. It just really helped to get them excited and interested in the history that we were learning. Now, I know that Gather Round claims to be, kind of Charlotte Mason. I would definitely call these more textbooks. These definitely read more like a textbook and not like a living book. And so that is why I really was particular about pairing really good novels to go along with each one of these units. The other thing that the kids did to go along with these is they also listened to some audiobooks, in particular some biographies about different people that we were studying, different presidents, things like that we were studying in the units. Again, really helped to personalize it and bring the history that we were studying to life. So grading for history was a little bit more difficult. I had to kind of use my, teacher self here and kind of come up with ways to grade this. Some of it I just did based on participation. I was able to grade their notes at how well they were doing at taking notes. I did make up my own tests, multiple choice, fill in the blank, that kind of thing that they took. as well as just did some basic narration where I would ask them questions and they would answer back, and I would give them a grade based on that. So I kind of combined a lot of different things for their grade for US history. But it was a really wonderful course. We made such good memories. Overall, we really enjoyed just the way Gather Round handled presenting different concepts in history, going at it with a very wide brush, with presenting a lot of different perspectives, especially when you're in these early units and talking about Indigenous people groups and things like that. I really appreciated their take on several of these, difficult subject matters. So overall, thumbs up for Gather Round. Definitely a big thumbs up for the literature choices that we put along with these. I will be sure to link those down below in the description box, as well as link the video to lit logs and how we utilize those in our home. They really just made history come to life this year. All right, guys, hey, coming at you, editing Sarah, obviously. Somehow in the shuffle of SD cards, I either forgot to hit the record button or accidentally deleted my clip about Spanish. And so I'm just gonna add that in here. Sorry about the change of location. Anyways, this year, Noah and Leah did Spanish 1 from BJU Press, and I'm really sad to say that I have to give it a thumbs down. It was just not a good fit for our home this year. And let me explain a few reasons why. We did this course along with the DVD rentals where you get to watch the lessons every single day. And those videos, they were great. The instructor is absolutely fantastic. He's very funny and engaging, and they really, really liked the videos. And this course did a wonderful job at introducing them to Spanish culture, the Spanish language, geography, different things like that. But when all is said and done, I feel like my kids have grown. They definitely do a pretty decent job for 1 year of Spanish at being able to read Spanish in their workbooks, be able to listen to Spanish and comprehend what is being said. But the area where they are really limited and lacking is speaking Spanish for themselves. And let's just be honest, that's really the skill I was kind of looking for them to take Spanish in high school, is I want them to be able to speak it. And perhaps this is my own kids' faults, might not be the course. But maybe they are just not following the prompts to speak out loud when being asked to and practice those skills. It might just be them. But I feel like with this course, they need more practice speaking. So I'm sad to say thumbs down for BJU Press Spanish. But that being said, just because I give something a thumbs down doesn't mean I totally ditch it. We are actually going to continue utilizing this curriculum next year. We only got about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way through it, and so they are going to finish it. If you've done any other, workbooks or anything from BJU, you know that they have 180 full lessons in every single course, and so it's kind of a difficult curriculum to get through. They're designed more for a classroom setting, I feel like. So we're just going to keep plugging away and get through the rest of Spanish 1, and I am actually intending, we'll see if it actually happens, but I am intending to purchase Spanish 2 to go along with this. Even though it's not a great fit, we're going to keep plugging along and using it, and then I'm going to supplement. I'm going to supplement maybe with Babbel or Rosetta Stone, or, oh, Lord willing, maybe I could find a Spanish tutor or a Spanish speaking person that they could sit down on a regular basis and practice their Spanish speaking skills with. That's really my hope and my goal. We'll just see how that goes. All right, and then the last area I wanted to talk about was just kind of fine arts and music. First of all, my kids have taken piano lessons. They've done this for years and years and years. And so that's been a wonderful fit for us, but I'm sad to say this is Noah's last year. He's pursuing other things in high school, and so I told him if he could just get his classical music, piano credit for high school, then he could be done if he wanted to, and so he's choosing to be done with piano. Leah, on the other hand, she loves it. She's probably going to go all the way through high school with piano. So that's just been a great fit. Their teacher that we have come in, she does music theory with them as well as, physical piano lessons. And so it's been wonderful. Now, as far as art, I have to give this a thumbs down, and it makes my heart so sad. But these books are from Artistic Pursuits. This is drawing with graphite pencils and painting with watercolor pencils. And I personally, I don't think I would give these a thumbs down, but my kids were just not thrilled with these. They utilized these last summer. We did these as our summer art projects. That's something I like to try to do, is fit in an elective in the summer months when it's super hot in the afternoon and, we can't do much outside anyways. They would do art projects all last summer, and there are 36 projects to go with each one of these books. You could take one of these books, do one a week for the entire school year, or you can do one a day all summer long like we did. And they just really flew through these, but they were not thrilled with kind of the lack of instruction or lack of guidance that they had with these. And part of that is my fault. I should have read the fine print. When it said that these came with DVD instruction, I assumed that there was going to be DVD instruction to go with every single lesson. There's not. There's DVD instruction to go with every few lessons. And so they kind of struggled through some of the projects, and the perfectionist art teacher in me really just felt like I wanted to beef up the formal instruction of technique and the why behind what they were doing, and give them examples through art history of some of the techniques they were using. And so I wish this curriculum would have worked a little bit better, but that's okay. I supplemented, and we're gonna continue with Artistic Pursuits. Again, believe it or not, even though I give something a thumbs down, doesn't mean I'm quitting that curriculum. I'm just trying to be honest and transparent with you guys about what works and what doesn't in our home. Maybe this is going to be a perfect fit for you. It was a great introduction to drawing and painting, but we're definitely going to beef it up some more in order to count it for a drawing and painting credit for high school. Okay guys, well that is it. That is the end of our 8th and 9th grade curriculum wrap-ups. Stay tuned. Next video is going to be all about my 3rd grader, Mariah, and all of the curriculum that I used for her. Again, what worked, what didn't, everything in between. So if you have not done so already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I hope you guys are having a great end of your summer. See you later.